Hey, how you doing? I'm Sean Webb. It's time for another Wisdom of the Masters, where we discover all ancient wisdom is basically the same one truth. Today's wisdom comes from St. Augustine, who said this: "Indeed, man wishes to be happy even when he lives as to make happiness impossible." So what was St. Augustine talking about when he was talking about man lives to make happiness impossible? Because it is the one goal that we all strive for. Whatever we do in life, from taking the garbage out, to going to work to sustain your income, to walking over and giving somebody a hug, it's all in the pursuit of happiness. Everything that we do in life is in the pursuit of happiness. Yet St. Augustine points out to us that most men, most humans, live as such that they make happiness impossible. Well, how can that be true? Well, the reality is that our human existence is governed by this thing called the thing that we call this equation of emotion, okay? And the equation of emotion has two variables, and it's basically how your nervous system works. This is just how your physiology works. You have an expectation or preference about something, and that's something that you care about in your mind, be it your body, or be it your ideas, or be it your people around you in your environment, or your things, or whatever it is. But your wishes, your goals, the things that you wish to have to be happy. And then you have this perception over here on the other side of how you see the world and what's happening around you, what people are saying and what the world is doing and how you're thinking about things, etc. And these two things get compared. Your expectation or preference about existence and then your perception about existence gets compared. And when they're in balance, then you create a happy feeling or a happy emotion. And when they're in imbalance, you create this negative space for you. You create a negative emotional response that ruins your day. Well, in the event of having things that you hold out to limit yourself from being happy until you have them, you're creating the environment for yourself not to be happy on a long-term basis. And so the whole American dream, so to speak, the whole model of which we are taught that happiness comes when we achieve a certain set of variables, which, by the way, is scientifically bullshit, because there's this thing called hedonic adaptation where you get used to the things that you have and then all of a sudden you need more and then you're unhappy again. Well, that's exactly what St. Augustine is talking about. We attach to things that we don't have as a requirement of happiness and put these hurdles up in front of ourselves for absolutely no reason whatsoever to put us between, a distance between us and happiness, when that doesn't need to occur at all. Happiness comes from nowhere but the human mind, and you set your internal conditions to create happiness because happiness is where your mind comes from, and you don't have to set those external conditions. And so St. Augustine was completely correct when pointing out the fact that, happiness is the thing for which we all strive, but it's also the thing which we don't allow ourselves to have because we set up these fake goals, these fake hurdles that we need to seemingly jump over before we get from where we are to happiness, which is simply not true. And of course, the wisest men in existence are going to point that out to us so that we quit making that same mistake that we make over and over again, and that has society wrapped around its little finger, because that's exactly the way the world works at this moment. Stop working that way. It's your choice. It's your mind. You can adjust the variables within your mind that help create happiness for you. And like one of the most recent Wisdom of the Masters, grow happiness under your own feet. Hope this message finds you well. Talk to you soon. Peace.